Boom! Hey guys, welcome back to Jasonunleashed. Hi, how's it going? You guys know where you're at? You're on my page. I'm Jason Carter. Thank you so much for being here today. Happy Friday. Cool show for you guys today because my guest is a super creative, super successful, amazing guy. The winner of 2 VMAs. He is a celebrity creative director, I had a brain fart, and choreographer, but he's incredible. His name is Mikey Minden. He's going to be here in just a few. You guys know who I'm talking about. Choreographer for so many amazing artists in the biz, including one of the best sung girl groups of all time, the Pussycat Dolls. And of course, we love him on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He is always getting Erika, Jayne together, be it with choreography, fashion, you name it, he's got it on lock. So without further ado, let's bring in my boy, Mikey Minden. Boom. Live with Mikey, mm, 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 mm. And the internet's really good today. Mikey!
What's up, Jason?
Hi, man. Look, forgive me for the intro. I had like a brain fart. It's been one of those weeks, dude, where it's just like, what's going on in my life? But thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you.
Oh, my pleasure, and I'm so glad to finally do this and talk and just like go over everything.
Yeah. First of all, how has quarantine been treating you?
I'm actually doing pretty good. I mean, I turned 35 on March 12th, which was right at the beginning of like everything. And
Yeah.
my partner, 7 years, David, he got me a Pomeranian puppy for my birthday. So we have been in quarantine, loving on our fur baby, cash, as in cash money. And,
Yeah.
he's just an angel. He's brought this house with joy, and we've just been having so much fun along with just spending time together, organizing, things that I've been doing.
I love it. I love it. Hang on one second. Hey, can you see me, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that, man. Sometimes the internet is not our friend. So, okay, so
All good.
you got a new puppy, you turned 35,
Yep.
and life is good.
I can't complain. I've been able to remain creative and stay somewhat busy during quarantine, during all the madness. So for that, I'm thankful and feel super blessed to have all these projects swirling around and finding normal, the new way to create work and keep your brain activated.
Right, 100%. Well, let's talk about you staying busy because you are absolutely a man that wears a lot of hats. Let's take it back to the beginning because you have this incredible career. You have choreographed and have created movement, have creative directed so many of the biggest names in music, from the Pussycat Dolls to Pink to Maya, Usher, Erika, Jayne.
Yeah.
Getting into the biz,
Yeah.
take us through your career and how you arrived at being the Mikey Minden you are now.
Okay, well, I'll kind of give you like cliff notes on my really long journey, and it's been a long. So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, which you probably know it's very rare. A lot of people
Right.
in LA are not born and raised here. So for that, because I grew up in the entertainment capital with everything at my fingertips. So for me, I had that, but I was always the kid that was inside of my room watching MTV, Abdul, Janet Jackson, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Prince. The Legends is really what my whole childhood was about, and that's what I'm still to this day inspired by, the work that they've done, etc. So I was that kid in my room watching TV, watching the VMAs, watching music videos. I wasn't outside playing sports and all of that. That's just who I was. That's who I've always been. So fast forward, I told my mom at age 7 I wanted to be on TV.
Yeah.
Literally got out. And being in LA, she had friends, and she took me to this kind of like open call for this manager. And I got it. And next thing I know, I was 7 years old with 4 agents and a manager. And theatrical, commercial, and equity, which is theater. And
Right.
then my manager. And I was just kind of off to the races. I started training dance heavily because that was always my first passion, was dancing. But as a child performer, they always tell you you should sing, you should dance, you should act.
Right.
Act. And acting was fun for me, but, you know, we'll get to that in a second. But for me, I trained in my dancing at Joe Tremaine Dance Center, which was
Joe Tremaine. Yeah.
the best studio. I never kind of went
Right.
to Dolly Dinkle's dance studio in the middle of nowhere. I just went to the best studio. I got the best training. I was in classes with Marguerite Derricks and Michael Rooney and just like these legends that I would find out later on. I would reconnect with them and they would really inspire my dance and choreography life.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I was going out for auditions, lots of commercials, and I booked a ton, McDonald's and Barbie and this and that. I did a lot of TV. I did some sitcom stuff, and then I did some theater. Then I did some Broadway. So from the age of 7, I just was working, all the way up into 14. And then when I was 14, I was like, okay, I've been doing this 7 years. And I know this sounds a little crazy for a 14-year-old to be saying this, but you know how advanced kids are these days.
Right.
I was that kid. I was always, in my opinion, mature beyond my years, an old soul. And I just knew my life path was different from most children my age.
Yeah.
So at 14, I told myself, I told my parents, I was like, I'm done being in front of the camera. I want to go behind the camera, and I really want to focus on being a choreographer and being creative, and I have all these ideas in my head. And I was always that kid, like at my birthday parties growing up, where like I would make everyone get in a formation, teach them a dance, direct them around. So I kind of feel like I've always been doing the same thing my whole life, just on different levels. If that makes sense.
Sure. That makes sense. Absolutely.
So around 15, after like a year of nagging my parents, I finished 8th grade. I entered 9th grade at this incredible school for any young performers out there. It's called LACHSA, Los Angeles County High School for the Arts. It's on the campus of Cal State LA, downtown Long Beach area-ish. And I went there for 1 year. Well, half a year, honestly, because halfway through, I just really realized that I just needed to be out in the adult working world. And I know that's crazy, but when you grow up in the business, you learn things much quicker. Your brain is, you know, you're making money, you have money set aside in the bank. It's just, you kind of look at life a little bit different, in just my opinion. And long story short, I ended up getting my California Proficiency Exam diploma, which is equal to 4 years of high school. So if later on I wanted to go back to school and study something that I was really passionate about, not history and science, no offense, I can go do that. And so that was the first step to my creative freedom, we'll call it. The second step was I had to become emancipated by the courts, because can't be the boss, the choreographer, the one telling everyone what to do, but at 9.5 hours, you gotta go because there's child labor laws in California. So with the blessing of my parents, I got emancipated. And I just wanna say I have the best relationship with my parents. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. And I wouldn't have had a whole, you know, past career behind me if they didn't let me fulfill my dreams and go after them. If they didn't let me do that, life would have been totally different. And what a bummer. I've had a great, 35 years.
Yeah. And you've had an incredible career. What was your first break? Because you started so young. I remember taking a class with you back in 2004 at the Edge, I think.
Yep.
Back in the day, and when it was like 3 stories and smelled like feet.
It was iconic. If any dancers out there are watching this or will watch this, Millennium used to be called Morrow Landis, and it was on Ventura and Vineland.
Right.
And then it moved to Lankershim and Magnolia, which became Millennium around the Millennium time, like 1999, 2000. And then I actually started teaching there. I must have literally 16, 17, 18 years old, okay? And it was like I would teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7:30 to 9. And then Wade Robson with 9 to 10:30, his iconic hip-hop class. So it was it was a great time in my life. It was a great time for dancers. The dance community was, you know, very strong at that time, very different. We can get into that later, but it was a magical time in my life teaching. And then I went on, moved to the Edge, which is where we took class, and I saw you, and that was a great experience. But by the time I was 21, honestly, I was done teaching around Los Angeles.
Yeah. Well, because it's a grind. Even though you have success, you have sold out classes, you have people that are coming from all around the world to train with you. For yourself, you're constantly giving of that creative well. And at a young, especially at 21 years old, you're still a kid. You're still trying to navigate being a grown man. But big breaks for you though happened, and you mentioned that was a really good time in dance because you had the teen pop explosion. You had Britney, Jessica, Christina, Janet, all these great artists that were still touring and were still paying dancers a lot of money to be a part of the team. Lots, like copious money. What was your first big break, Mikey?
Okay, so I was thinking about that question while you were just chatting, and I feel like there's a few, and I'll touch over them quickly. And there's different breaks in my life. Like there's the cliche things like, oh, I got this job and it catapulted me. But for me as a creative, I look at like different milestones as different achievements. So one of my most favorite, like kind of thing, breakthrough moments was when I really, really, really started to train with Marguerite Derricks and Michael Rooney. And it was like an amazing group of young dancers. It was like me and Galen Hooks and Kevin Taylor and Kristen McQuaid. And this whole, we were just all the same age. We'd all been in the business, so we were like-minded. And we all just had like this 2-year training period, and we just grew and we performed and we got to, you know, assist and really just learn from two dance icons.
Right.
So that's one for me. That was a great milestone in my life. And I still, to this day, as a choreographer and creative director on set, I think about the things that Marguerite said. And I think about the way she would show up in her Prada and her Gucci, and she was sunglasses. And it was just such a vibe. And as a teenager, I just thought it was like the best thing of all time. So that's a milestone in my life. Second one is I did my very first choreographer's carnival. And I believe... It was at the Key Club, which is no longer around for all of you out there. For those who know, you know. And I did like a group number. I was 15 and a half, I would say, because I had just weaseled my way out of 9th grade. And I got my diploma and I'm emancipated. And I was like, I'm free creatively. I'm just thriving. And I did my first carnival number. And it's just funny how life is. Carmit Bahar from the Pussycat Dolls,
legend,
me at that carnival, my very first one, along with the very fabulous, if you know, Sharon Ferguson, Pussy Control, named by Prince himself. So the two of them, they were up there. They're like 15-year-old kid prodigy, Michael Minden or Mike whatever, and then my number went on, and from that, the iconic Omar Lopez, who was a choreographer. So he ended up seeing my piece that night, and he ended up hiring me as like an associate choreographer for the Usher 8701 tour, which at that time there was nothing bigger than Usher, you know. And I actually had already nothing, and I'd actually already worked with Usher on a movie as a child dancer called Geppetto. So it was like kind of again a circling back around, but in a different aesthetic, if you will. So that was a great moment because I did something, I put myself out there in front of, you know, Los Angeles. I was 15 and a half, Carmit, Pussy Control, and I got something from that.
Yeah.
My third and final, I feel like breakthrough catapulting moment was, you know, meeting Robin Anton, the creator and the founder, the original Pussycat Doll, the legend. And, you know, I brought my first choreography reel on a VHS to her. I knocked on the door. I heard she was rehearsing at Millennium. I was going to teach my 7:30 jazz funk class, and I happened to have a VHS in my, you know, Gucci backpack or whatever I was sporting at the time. And I knocked on the door, and I said, "Hi, my name is Mikey Minden. You don't know me. This is my very first choreography reel on a VHS, and I would love for you to look at it. I'm obsessed with what you've created, being the Pussycat Dolls, which is at this time It was a live show at the Viper Room. And I just loved the costumes and the hair and the makeup and the girls and just like the throwback and all the inspiration that original creation, I just related to it so much. And some time went by, never heard from her. And then I ended up signing with McDonald's Selznick and Associates back in MSA, whatever year that was. I was like 16 at that point. And they linked me back up with Robin. And I'll just say from that moment on, we have never left each other's side. We have always worked together. It's been over, almost 20 years now, which is kind of crazy when I put that out there. But, I talk to her every week. We actually have new and exciting projects, some that I can talk about, some that I can't, going on right now. We obviously reconnected for the reunion of PCD, which we can talk about at some point. So those would be my 3 long-winded milestone breakthrough moments, but all for different reasons.
Right, and they all shaped who you are as a choreographer, and all showed up at a time when you were ready to receive them. You bring up the Pussycat Dolls, and I think people when they look to the Pussycat Dolls, they also associate all the elements of the dolls, and you are one of the elements. 2006, 2005, PCD, one of the dopest albums still, right?
Still.
You have, I mean, let's keep it 100. PCD is banging. You have this group of women that are girl power,
yep,
sex positive, femininity, and you're giving choreography to these ladies at such a young age, creating and cultivating that style for you back then. What was the genesis of that? Because people still do the don't you choreography. People buttons stop. You know what I mean? Like it's timeless, iconic.
How do I get into this? Robin and I, first of all, just have a really great working relationship. We're inspired by the same things. We pull inspiration and references from different decades of the same time periods of fashion and hair and makeup and movement. We love Bob Fosse. I mean, Fosse is such a huge inspiration to both of us in different ways and for the Pussycat Dolls. And also she's a Cancer, I'm a Pisces. It's like a perfect,
water match,
logical, creative water match, exactly. And every time we would just go into a new song or a new video, we would have a little creative meeting about what is the vibe, what is the aesthetic, what are they wearing, how does it relate to the music and the song. And honestly, we always did the right thing, in my opinion, and I believe collaboration in creativity is the best way to get the best successful ending result. If you come from an ego-based place where you have to be the one and you can only be the one, then maybe it'll be good, but this is not my style of working, or Robin. So we always brought in, a lot of different great associate choreographers and assistant choreographers and choreographers to help mold each song to make it iconic and timeless and special and different. And you have to think about when you're creating, even fast forwarding past the videos to a 2-hour concert, which we sold out many times around the world, you can't have the same vibe from finish. Got to have those hills and valleys and those ups and downs with the visuals. So choreography has always been and will always be a huge part of Pussycat Dolls, because that's how it began, and that's the base of the girl group, is dance and performance.
Right.
And, videos like Buttons, which we won. We're so blessed to win, 2 VMAs for, and even videos like When I Grow Up, which we also won VMAs for. Like, there's so many and each of those videos also, I think, and all of the girls hold just such a special place in our heart, because like we were saying earlier about, the early 2000s and, the money that was spent on these pop, huge conglomerate artists, megastars, we shot real videos, and we prepared weeks, and we shot for 3 days, and there were lighting tests. Like, nothing was just like slammed into a 12-hour shoot and like, oh, hope it goes well. So I think that's why those videos still hold up in 2020. And you look at them and they're perfect. So,
well, I mean,
compliments.
Yeah, 100%. Like, people in the comments below, Mikey, are like just going, they're reliving the splendor of that time in music and that time with the dolls. Fast forward, 10 years, The dolls are back. Last fall, React. It was a moment. I got the chance to talk to Jessica and Carmita Entertainment Tonight, and the X Factor performance was as if the girls who are everyone's at a different stage in their life. They've grown. They have their mothers now. They're married. They're doing so many things beyond being in the group, but they came back stronger than ever. That performance was as if they did not miss a beat. And as a creative director, the pressure you must have felt to make sure the dolls came back swinging, because that's exactly what they did. What was the conversations like, and what was the vibe when everyone got back together again after being away for so long?
Honestly, everyone is family, and no matter how many years have gone by and where everyone is in their life, creatively, professionally, personally, you have these memories that bond you. And I think it's such a special family that we have, the girls, Robin, myself, it's a very small unit, and we've all gone through so much together. And the bottom line is you can't ever erase those bonds, and they can't be. And getting back together was incredible. It was powerful. It was iconic. It was legendary. And then to be able to shoot that insane video here in LA with the water and the fire and, you know, kind of all elements that are signature to PCD. Like we danced in the rain for the I Hate This Part video. Fire was all about buttons. But to kind of like remix those ideas and their look and just elevate it for 2020 and to have it still hold up and have the reaction that it got, you know, those couple months were really, really powerful.
Well, the performance was powerful as well as the song. But Mikey, as I said before, like you're so giving of your creative endeavor. You're so giving of your creative essence. How do you replenish that well? What does Mikey Minden do when it doesn't flow freely? How do you, where do you go to find creativity?
I have a great answer for that. Honestly, for me, there's two different answers. For me as a creative director, where I find all of my inspiration and kind of rejuice and re-up on new ideas and inspiration and references is I have like a wall of books. And these are coffee table books from like fashion and photography and models and designers and this. And it's just, there's so much information in there. And I think people forget that books are still around. Like everything is like phones on our phones. Right. I love technology, but at the same time, there's something about like flipping through a gorgeous picture book and like there's a real photograph there by a real photographer shot on film, not digital. And there's just something for the magic in those images. So for me as a creative, I mean, yes, I go on Google and Tumblr and Pinterest and, you know, all the different things where you can find references to make creative decks, which I do on a weekly basis, but I still go back to my bookshelf and I even have some magazines. Like I used to have a huge bookshelf and then a huge bookshelf full of only magazines, but the magazines kind of started to feel like I was just literally carrying around like paper, you know what I mean? Like moving from place to place. So I kind of like did an edit and now I just have like some iconic ones that will just always serve as inspiration. So for me, it's a lot of that. I love watching old movies like Turner Classic Channel. I think it's TCM. And I love musicals. I love going back and watching Fosse and Michael Kidd and Michael Peters and all these like real creatives and choreographers that paved the way for what we all do today. So for me as a creative director, I mean, that's kind of my world to like re-up and rejuice, you know, and to be honest, as a choreographer, the best tool to see what's happening out there with the kids and with the culture is Instagram.
Yeah, agreed.
Because, I mean, YouTube is great. I love YouTube, but Instagram is just so like, you know, in the moment.
Right. It's in the moment and it gives you, it's an immersive experience. Choreographer, creative director, that transition, because a lot of people think that a choreographer, which, you know, in terminology, someone creates movement, right? But being a creative director is so much more involved and requires so much more of you wearing different hats. Making that transition from choreographer to creative director, how was that for you? Because some people can't do that. That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, and it's not for everyone. There's more to being a choreographer than just 5, 6, 7, 8 steps, which is like what you just said. For me as a choreographer, it was always about like, okay, the music is going to tell the story, is the audio. Then my job as a choreographer is to explain the audio with a visual. So not just like what is the movement that they're doing, but what is their look? What is their wardrobe? How are they presenting themselves? How are they dressed? What is their hair? What is their makeup? What is the lighting? What is their screens? All these different things that a choreographer, you're supposed to think about. Now, not everyone is that type of choreographer. Some people specialize in teaching. They're educators. Like they're the best. They will teach you till they're blue in the face. Or like they're more of a convention choreographer and stuff like that, which is all, we need all of it. For me, I'm not so much that. My brain was always more creative directors. So the transition to me was kind of seamless, and that's just the truth. I think it was just a continuation of what I've always done, but now I'm just really focusing on that and taking more of those jobs on as opposed to like being in the dance studio 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Right.
But it only uses one part of my brain, the choreography, where the creative direction, I can focus on everything. And I can really ensure to my clients or whoever I'm working with at the time that I will have your back and make sure that every element is in order so that you can go do the job that you need to do.
Right. And I think that comes from being, and also to learn how to do that also, in addition to your inherent talent in regards to what you do as a creative. I think it also comes with just being in the business and being around people and knowing what to do, because at the end of the day, it's just that, it's a business. You know, you mentioned your clients, it's people are buying this talent. And so you have to deliver time and time again. You have been able to conceptualize and creative direct a phenomenon that is Erika Jayne. And I saw Erika Jayne, Albuquerque, New Mexico, summer of 2011 for Albuquerque Pride. And it was incredible because you guys came with 11 dancers and leather. It was just like I had never seen anything before that ever on stage. And you guys have this amazing creative relationship, but also a very personal relationship. How did you and Erika Jayne become this match made in creative heaven?
Well, first of all, I would just like to say that Erika Jayne is an icon. She is a legend. She is someone you do not want to mess with because she is a triple threat performer. She's an actress. She's a singer. She's a dancer. She's a reality TV star. She's an
author.
She's a New York Times best-selling author.
Yeah.
She has makeup. She has shoes. She is the full package. So I love Erika Jayne, and I will always hold a very special place in my heart for the work that we have done together, our friendship, and the work that we will do together. Once again, Erika is a Cancer. I am a Pisces. So again, it's just a perfect creative match made in heaven. We met. I was just her choreographer. I did a choreographed video for her. We did some live performances. This is like at the very end of PCD Doll Domination. The group was taking a minute. And here came Erika Jayne. It was like the universe like saying, all right, this is going away, but this is coming to you, and this is what you're focusing on. And I did. And we worked the world, literally. We have performed literally every single LGBTQ pride festival, club, matinee, inside, convention center, blowout, there is. All around the US and all around the world. And we did a couple things together. And again, there was never really a day where she said, okay, you're going to be my creative director and da-da-da-da-da. It was just organic. It was natural. It flowed into that. When it came to do her video for Pretty Mess, which is still to this day one of my favorites. We shot it on film. I co-directed with the iconic Mike Ruiz, celebrity photographer. I'm sure you know. Yeah. Mike is incredible. Sending much love out to Mike. And we did that video together. And it was kind of where I feel I really put my stamp on the Erika Jayne project. If you look at it, it's I hate to do that on the slide, but
you can't. The internet and phone ringing while we're live is the bane of our existence.
Sorry, it's a work day here at the Minden household. But anyways, what I was saying is the Pretty Mess video is, I feel like, where I put my stamp on the Erika Jayne project, and it's dark, it's sexy, it's moody, it's over the top. There's lots of choreography. The styling is super my vibe. And that's I think where the kind of shift went from me just being in charge of the choreography and putting on the shows and really focusing on the overall creative of where is the direction going for this project. And I thank Erika for giving me that freedom and trust, because that's a big deal. I was still young. I was honestly at this time probably 24, 25, you know?
Yeah.
So it's over a decade ago. Anyway,
And you can tell, Mikey, from just look, just from watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and when you're on the show and just I mean, reality TV creates these narratives that are produced, but when you watch you and Erika, it seems like it comes across as a very genuine relationship. And she trusts you from not only choreography but to picking out her Louboutins, her Moschino dresses. I mean, everything. She is okay with you calling the shots on. That's got to feel good.
It's a collaboration, and I want to make that clear. Erika has a very, very insane sense of style. She knows what she likes. She knows what looks good on her. So we almost have a format. And we have an insane stylist, Danny Michelle, who we both love dearly and who has helped take these visions that are kind of in my brain and in Erika's brain, and she helps bring them to life with actually getting the pieces and adding to it her own style and flair, which the three of us together have really kind of become this style team. And then it's all about the hair and the makeup and the glam squad, which we kind of, honestly, we didn't put that on Housewives for show. That was just how Erika lives her life, period. And I say that it's real because it sounds cliche, but it is. Like when Erika came on the scene, they were just following her along, filming her story, and people really responded to it. So for that, grateful. And it's really kind of set a trend, I think, out there on other shows that, you know, a lot of people have glam squads now, and a lot of people think about how they appear on camera. They don't just wake up and go, you know, they have some makeup. They thought about what they're wearing. So I do feel that we kind of set a trend, especially with certain people.
Well, I would agree because, you know, in all the years I've watched the franchise and all its different iterations, it wasn't until Erika Girardi got on the show where, you know, okay, when they went to Germany, when they were overseas, and the dominatrix out, it was just like, no one was doing that. No one was doing that. And she did it unapologetically. It's like, yes, I traveled to Greece with my glam squad. I traveled to Spain. I mean, this is just what we do. And for me, I'm thinking like, that's a lot, though. That's a lot to have, the luggage, the flights, the whole lifestyle. Is this sometimes exhausting for you?
Absolutely not. I love every second of it. I mean, it's like what I thrive on. The glitz, the glamour, the fun, the lifestyle, the traveling. That is who I am. And that is who she is. And think about all the real divas. Jennifer Lopez, right? Carrie. Are these people flying with their team and their glam squad? Absolutely. They're not going to be out there looking busted. So it's a life choice. It's not for everyone, and it shouldn't be for everyone. But for the women who respond to that and that's their vibe, that's my vibe too, and we'll get along.
Fair enough, Mikey. Fair enough. You mentioned that you're working on a lot of cool things. I mean, recently we've seen you collaborate with NIKITA DRAGUN, which that was a moment. Also, Pia Mia.
Yes.
What's on the horizon? You're busy. You just turned 35 this year. You know, life is happening as we've seen. COVID has upended life as we know it. We've been in quarantine for 5 months now, but you've managed to stay busy. What's next for you?
So you spoke of NIKITA DRAGUN, who is literally the most inspiring human of all time. My hat's off to her. When we work together, I enjoy it so much because she's just so creative and she has so many ideas, and she's just so smart. And not everyone is that smart. So we've done some great stuff in the past before for BeautyCon back in 2018. And we've just remained close. We've been shooting some really cool content, which is out there on her socials and my socials. And we have some other cool things in the works. Can't talk about it, but I love NIKITA. NIKITA and Mikey together She has an amazing team around her. Joey Tao is her stylist, and she has incredible hair and makeup. And she has her whole own thing going on, and I feel very fortunate to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah.
We love NIKITA. Everyone, go check her out. As for Miss Princess Pia Mia, that is actually a project that Robin Anton and I are creative directing together. So she has a dream team, a powerhouse team behind her. She has an amazing manager, Troy Carter, who is at the head of this whole thing, and she's on Republic Records. We released a visualizer and some photos and images back in May for her song Princess, which was great. Go check it out. And actually today, her new single, Hot, is released. So go stream it, go download it. There's lots on the horizon. Pia Mia is once again one of the smartest, talented, triple threat performers I've ever seen. I've been following her career since she started on Interscope. And I'm so glad that the universe has cosmically brought Robin, myself, and her together so that we can create some magic. And I feel like the world needs some good music and some fantasy and some escapism right about now. So
They do.
With Pia. And then beyond that, obviously I'm continuing all of my creative direction and choreography, where fit in this world, this new normal that we're living in. But beyond that, I've always loved reality TV. You know, I've been on reality TV for a long time, starting with our PCD Presents, Search for the Next Doll, and Girlicious, 2 seasons on CW. I've done Dance Moms for 2 seasons. You know, Housewives of Orange County, Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kardashians, all these, you know, things throughout the years. And I just have a love for reality TV. I don't know what to say. I find it interesting, and you can't write it. So I have a couple concepts in the works, and I'm hoping to sell those and, you know, be an executive producer and just elevate my brand.
If you weren't elevating your brand and being the creative that you are, and you would step away from entertainment, what would you do? What would be the alternate life for Mikey Minden?
The alternate life would be that me and Davis and our fur baby Cash, we move to Miami and we open a restaurant with a bar and we live on the beach and we live our best life, to be honest. I love food. I love cooking. I love entertaining. I love party planning. I love gathering cool people together. And that's something that I've always wanted in the back of my head. A restaurant, bar, and in Miami, I mean, what's better than that?
Right. Trust me, I know. Miami's on the horizon for me as well. Love in a time of quarantine, Mikey. You, Davis, and Cash Baby. How has it been? What are the discoveries you've made being forced to be held indoors, sheltered indoors, with the man you love?
Well, I feel like this whole time period that we've all been experiencing and living through, it's either like a breakup for couples or it makes you stronger. And I am proud to say that it's made us stronger. We've spent so much time together because, you know, our old normal schedules was me flying around the world. We were always going in different directions. Davis is always working, doing so many incredible things. He's so talented, and I'm just so proud of him. And it's just been nice to, like, honestly take a moment, be in each other's space, have some romantic time, connect, and just be with each other, because sometimes the still, simple, quiet time is really what keeps it all together. And so I've been very fortunate, been very blessed. Knock on my steel table. But that's my boo. I got my fur baby Cash Money right here, and you know,
well, let's see him. Well, let's see the dog. You can't talk about him, not show him.
1 second. Cashy, come here. You want to be on camera? You want to be on camera? Okay. This is gonna be our outro, right? Look.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is Cash.
So cute. What kind of dog is he?
He's a throwback Pomeranian. So he's not like a best in show, going to be like a Jif the Pom, but he's like he's just perfect. And he just turned 6 months 2 days ago. So he's just living the best life here in West Hollywood, you know?
Living his best life. As are you, Mikey. It's been awesome talking to you today. Again, celebrating everything you're doing. Keep up the good work. You're killing the game, and stay safe, man, because it's a crazy world out there, bro.
Sending you lots of love. Thank you, Jason. Everyone tune in. See you soon.